This is Engineering Chronicles student series. We have a guest, not from the School of Engineering, but from the School of Science, Technologies and Software Development here, NS. So basically it's one and the same thing under Engineering Chronicles. And his name is Waza Banda. He's going to explain much about what he has done, who he is, and many of his projects. So welcome, Mr. Waza Banda. Hi.
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Right, so let's get to business.
Yes.
So can you just talk more about your background, about yourself?
Okay. So as you mentioned, my name is Waza Banda. I was born. Yeah. So I was born in Frida on the Copper Belt. I don't have many memories of that because we immediately moved to Luansha, and that's where I spent most of my early childhood. So primary, secondary school were all in Luansha. Yeah. So that's a bit about my early life. I think if we trace back, that's where most of my passion for what we're going to discuss today actually comes in.
All right.
But I think those.
So with fear?
No, as in just from my early childhood. As we go on, I think those questions will be answered.
Oh, all right. Okay. So what was your first, how was your experience first in high school?
In high school? It was terrible. I won't lie. I think if you put in the aspect of, I can say, bullying, being that odd child and the like. So I wasn't the most sociable person in high school. I think that's my own issues, and then you're not interacting well with people.
Right.
Yeah, so I found myself mostly secluded in some aspects. But then I ended up finding love in technology over that. Yeah, what made me weird has actually made me quite interesting, if I can say the least. So that was my experience in high school. Plus, school itself generally was not fun. Yeah, I can say I did very poorly even in high school, as in terms of grades. So that was my experience. It was not the best, but at the very least it shaped me to where I am today, whereby I found this love in technology, because at the time, that's what I found joy in. Yeah.
All right. So you're saying you weren't that good in high school. Is it because you're doing other things like coding, doing your programming and stuff?
Yeah, kind of. So, I don't know, there was a question there on when I learned programming. I don't know if I can answer that in advance.
Yeah, I can, because it's more of an interactive session.
Yeah, so when I was actually introduced to programming, that was in grade 9. Yeah, that was with C++. For the people at engineering, they know C++. That was me in grade 9. The first story I watched was by Bucky. I don't know if you watched his tutorials. Bucky C++ tutorials.
An Indian guy. Is he an Indian guy?
No, he's white. They're very old tutorials. But old is gold, as I say. So those were the first videos I ever watched for C++. And being in grade 9, some things flew over my head. I'm there watching this guy talk about object-oriented programming, and I still haven't grasped loops. It was
So that was grade 9.
That was in grade 9, as in I didn't understand loops properly, and then here I am forcing myself to try and understand how OP is working. Even though I was introduced to programming that early on, I can't say I took it as seriously. Yeah, I started taking it more seriously in my gap year. But that's when I got into the technology. I don't know if I've digressed from the question.
No, all right. No, you explain more about that as we go on. Right, so, what made you to decide to come to the University of Zambia and to do programming, computer science? Why not electrical and electronic engineering? Because it has C++, it has programming activities there. People, especially third years, they have a course where they do the software programming and stuff. So why computer science?
So for that one, I have an older brother. He did electrical engineering here as well. So there was that thing of, you want to be engineers? As in, I like what I'm doing, I like the tech. And then over my gap year, I got more into programming. than the actual electrical engineering. Quite right, I do still enjoy electronics and majoring in systems, of course.
Yes.
So I did get more into programming, which was like, oh, can I actually do this in university? Instead of that electrical engineering stuff, can I actually do computers in university? And then like, there's computer science. And coming to UNZA, that was the only thing. I was like, they just computer science. I had no expectations whatsoever. So just I'll go there and then they'll start computer science.
Okay, so in the first year, mindset was just like, I have to ace this year just for me to proceed next year.
Yes.
And
whatever
major in computer science.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. All right, so let's go to the academic excellence part. So, of course, we have known that you are quite an exemplary student when it comes to, school and stuff. So, how do you try to, how do you become that student that you are, where you ace, your grades and stuff, that makes you become one of those good students there at school for computer sciences?
Can say fear of failure. That's one of them. Fear of failing. It goes back to the high school situation. Yeah, coming here, I think I came into UNZA with 12 points. That's very top. And I was even surprised that they actually accepted me, because you'd hear to say, you need 8 points, 6 points. And then there I am with my 12 points. I was like, am I cut out for this? So in my first year was like, you know what? This isn't even a new page, it's a completely new book. Let me see how I can write things. I think I went from getting a 6 in chemistry on grade 12 to getting a B+ in chemistry. Yeah, that was that was the shift in mindset. Of course, even getting to meet people. I think you interviewed Terence. I think first day on campus, that was the first person I ever met.
Wow.
And then that interaction with someone whereby you're trying to laze about, you pass by your friend's room at 23 hours, his light is still on. And you want to say, should I go to sleep? And then you're like, okay, one more slide. And that was the mindset. So I can say, trying to maintain that level of being serious, I think it's also about who you interact with in general. Yeah, you can try to lift yourself up to say, I shouldn't fail. Otherwise, I was even told that if you fail, you're going back on farm. And I was like, no.
You can't do that. So that was one of the things that was motivating you. So I just have to do it.
I just have to do this. Yeah, and then of course, just the company I luckily found myself in first year. Because if one wrong move and I wouldn't be here.
Back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here. As in, if I had met the wrong people, first of all, that motivation would have never come, and I would have just been, just student number 200 and something.
Okay, that's really interesting. So again, the first year, were you multitasking? Were you doing the programming and doing the school? Because for you to I presume that you did good in first year, because you're saying you got an A in, that was chemistry.
No, B+.
Or B+, or I know. So were you doing your programming there?
I was, but not as much as I wanted. And that's the thing of, again, not wanting to fail. So if we go back to the year before first year, I spent most of that year just programming, making games. I think we made through game dev.
You remember me now, right?
Yeah, ZGGC. So that's how we first met, and that was my 2020. But then going into first year, 2021, I was taught to say, as much as you want to program and you love this, sacrifice this 1 year. Otherwise, you will leave UNZA before you actually even get a chance to do what you love. So in my first year, I can say for the entirety of first semester, programming was a once in a while. I was just tutorial sheet, lecture slides. That was my first year.
So you set your priorities right. Say, this is what I'm prioritizing first before I do this.
Let me just sacrifice this 1 year, and when I get to computer science, I'll kill it that side.
That's a good plan. Okay. I think you've touched a bit of how your experience was in first year, but for formality's sake, how was your first year? How can you compare first year and now? How is it? How did you adjust to the new environment? Because you came from where you were, from high school, gap year, you came to the University of Zambia. The ambience is different. How did you adjust to the environment?
In first year? That one. Okay, just into my first year. That one was, as I said, just trying to start a new book altogether. Yeah, it was. I had to reconsider how I had been studying from high school, which brought me to a certain philosophy of mine that I like to follow. I'll touch on that later. But I just had to set my priorities straight. Yeah, it was a bit hard getting used to things, I can say, at the very beginning, but again, of course, with enough hard work and being surrounded by the right people, I think I was able to adjust by mid first semester. Yeah, I just had to come in with that mindset of high school is gone. This is new. We were even taught to say people with 6 points go. Yeah, people with 6 points can leave Waza. Yeah, and then I'm there like, I didn't get 6 points, so I think I can leave at the faster rate. So I think I just had to set my priorities straight, and that was most of my experience. It was difficult at first, but after getting into a proper rhythm, a proper routine, it started making sense. Yeah.
Okay. That's nice. Okay. So we go to this question. So you said when you studied programming, that was in grade 9, right?
Yeah.
Grade 9, right? So now I want to talk much about. Before we talk about the programming stuff that you do now, let's talk about the first thing that you started doing. Let's say maybe games. Right? So how did you start making games? What inspired you to make the games that you make? I don't know if you still make it now.
Yeah, I still occasionally.
Right.
What inspired me to get into making games? So games in general, I think I've found, I can say, peace in them. Yeah, it's one of the things that growing up, at the very least, I could find genuine enjoyment out of. Yeah, getting into tech, you have limited internet access, so you say you have games, you're tinkering around with stuff. So it's something I found genuine enjoyment in. And so when I got into programming, the main reason I got into programming was like, I googled to say how to make a game. And everyone's like, code. First code snippet I ever looked at, like, is this Chinese? Nothing made sense. Nothing made sense in that instance. So I was there wondering to say, this isn't for me. Until eventually it became for me. I couldn't run away from it, because it's like, I want to make a game.
And the thing that you have to do is here.
It's code. It's I don't even remember what scripting language that was, because it's not one of the main scripts. I think it was something called Django script. I'm just there, float X, Y, Z, transform, and then I'm looking at this like, what's this?
Even though it's like jargon to you.
It's complete jargon. Looking back at younger me looking at that code, I would be like, my brother, continue. You're not anymore. So that was good. So me enjoying playing games and wanting to actually create one, because I'm like, how do these work? Yeah, that mindset of how do these work. Like, this is how games are. I enjoy them. How do they work? How can I make my own? I think that on its own, that's what got me into making games, and that's what forced me to actually learn how to program. And from that one seed of I want to make a game, I think it has branched out to even other things. Because making games is now just a small part of what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk a bit about your roguelike, right? Gunsmith. That project of yours, I first saw it at GDC and I was like surprised. So how did you come up with that concept? Because the game itself is very genius. So how did you come up with that idea of such a game?
Disclaimer, I kind of lost the source code. The game is is in limbo. As in, no, it's backed up on GitHub. But then the amount of work I lost versus how much was backed up, I don't know, because I kind of like stopped working on the project for a while. So most of the progress is just gone into the ether. I don't know where I ended. I don't know what. I think that just talks about how I didn't manage it properly. Yeah, it became a monolith of code. At some point, I thought of even signing off. But the question was, what was the question again?
How did you come up with the idea of Gunsmith?
Come up with it. I think I've just played a lot of games. I like customization when I'm playing my games. Yeah, so in most of the games that I enjoy playing, first of all, roguelikes. My first roguelike was Enter the Gungeon, which was where I got heavy inspiration from. So in Enter the Gungeon, there are a bunch of guns in the game. And I was like, I look at the number of guns, they're like 1,000 and something. Like, I can't make all these. As much as I can't make all this, so I went for the laziest approach possible, which was, instead of me having to make them, let me make the player make them. So let me just give the player the necessary tools to say, okay, you can have this, you can have this, you can put them together, and boom, you have a weapon. And that's how the game was born. Essentially, it was out of my own laziness of not wanting to handcraft content. I was like, I'll just let the player do it. Yeah,
select, mash up everything.
Yeah, mash them up, and it's actually a cool concept. I think I will have to revisit it later after all my priorities with school are done and buried. I think it's something that I need to revisit. Otherwise, I still love that concept.
Yeah. Okay. What killer ships?
Let's not talk about that. Let's not go there.
Right. So, how do you stay updated with the latest technology, and how do you apply the new technology in what you're doing today?
YouTube. There's no more complicated answer. It's just YouTube. What I like doing whenever I'm coding, or either when I'm coding or solving, though we don't have much math this year sadly, so I really do any solving is I'll usually have YouTube open on my phone, and then some YouTube channels. Favorite ones being Fireship.io, the Primegen, and just any random big YouTubers talking about tech. And then I'll just let the videos play. Any fun topic, any drama in the tech space. No, this company sued one. I'm just there listening. Focus. Like eventually you end up picking up on these small new pieces of technology. Oh, there's this piece of technology. Oh, there's this piece of technology. And then you're like, okay, you take note. Eventually one day you try it out. In fact, a friend of mine at some point even told he's working, and then he messaged me like, man, some of the things you post, I don't get them because as I'm already working, yet there's some tech that I just find from you. Which I guess because I like to immerse myself in that world. Yeah, I like to always be there trying to figure out what's new, what's like. And then right now it's even easier because there are platforms like daily.dev, which you can just install on your phone, and it's like a blog post of all these new technologies that are coming out. Yeah, which just makes getting updated even easier. And of course the fact that I just like experimenting with new tech.
That's really interesting. Okay. Now we come to the balancing act. So how do you balance between academics, programming?
So managing that, I think it comes down to how quickly do you do things. Yeah, I like getting into the zone when I'm working on something. So I'll make sure to say, okay, this is what I've been given. Let me just prioritize putting as much effort into this one thing and do it as fast and as efficiently as possible. Yeah, and then I move on to something else. I think putting yourself in that mindset of let me get this done, let me get it to work. It actually lets you balance more time easily, because you can get something to work now, ship it off. Whilst it's being reviewed, tested, you move on to something else. Yeah, that be it your studies and the like. And I think that's how I end up just managing, just making sure that when I put my mind to something, I see it through to completion.
Then again, go to that project.
Yeah, it's something that I don't know if you've heard of the Dan Manifesto.
Sorry?
Dan Manifesto.
Don't know.
So there's this anti-procrastination cult. They just call it a cult. It's called the Cult of Dan. Basically, it's just a set of 13 rules. 13 rules that focus on getting things done. Yeah, and one of them is perfection is boring. Just do it, move on.
Do it and go to the next thing.
And then being done is not being done with something That means you have to finish it. It means you can get other things done. So get done with this, get done with that, get done with that. And those 13 rules I can share them with you. It's quite an interesting thing. If you suffer from chronic procrastination like myself, I think those 13 rules, looking at them every now and then, it's even my screensaver on my phone, trying to say, okay, yeah, let me get to that.
Let me get to that.
Yeah, so just that philosophy over there, and just that helps me just balance out things. Yeah.
Nice. Interesting things to learn, guys. I hope you are following. Then these projects and skills, right? So, when it comes to frameworks, Python frameworks, and you and Aaron have scaffolds over this.
I know what.
So, you an advocate for Django, right? Django. Yes. And then Aaron says otherwise. Wait, the other framework says Tumogia is Web 2.5. Why do you stick with Django? What's so special about it that with whatever you're doing your IoT, you're always advocating for Django?
It's that thing whereby there are multiple reasons. I can give you the one that sounds smart, and then I can give you the one that sounds very selfish.
Okay, all right. You need both versions.
Yeah. So the one that sounds very selfish and straightforward is the one that it's the first framework that made me money.
Okay.
In short, not that money was the end goal, but yeah, it's the first framework that I used that was like, oh, okay, this is I can actually make money from my skills and not just be in my bedroom writing code that no one will see. The other thing is when you put in effort into learning something, like when you put enough effort into one craft, I think it was Mark Manson who said this in his book. It was like when you put in enough, when you cultivate in one craft, one relationship, one skill, eventually things just start making sense. So I've been a Python programmer since 2020.
2020.
Yeah, so technically speaking, I was kind of mandated to learn Python. Brother, which I thank God. Thank you for forced me to learn.
So that was first year in 2020?
No, that was before my first year. That was during my gap year.
You did your gap year?
Yeah.
Well, you came here in 2021,
yeah.
Right? All right.
So 2020, I was learning C# and game development and also Python this side. So I started with Python. I learned it for the purpose of machine learning. Before that, I didn't even know how to make a website, actually. Yeah, and eventually, I got into something came up whereby they wanted the website. I was like, how do you make a website? Oh, I know Python. How do you make a website in Python? There's Flask. I learned Flask. It helped me out, but then there was Django, which was like, it's Flask, but better. Yeah, I was like, I tried Django. At first, we did not click.
Okay.
I'm opening this file. I'm opening this project, this file structure. There I am, just learning Python for a few weeks, and then I'm opening like, okay, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Let me close it for now. I'll come back to it later. And when I eventually did come back to it later, after retreating and learning other things, I've just realized that how easily it helps me do things. And this goes for any framework in general. It's just that Django is the one that I've taken the most time to learn, so it's the one that I advocate for the most. I think most people by CS, they'll not do it.
They now know that Django is a big thing.
Yeah, it's like my bat signal. Mention Django. So yeah, it's just I just ended up playing it, and I find doing things a little easier. Like whatever I haven't encountered a problem in terms of backend that I can't solve with it. It's helped me out a lot. And,
So, by the way, you're a full stack developer, or you're just in the back end?
Okay, that one I don't like, because I don't necessarily like saying no full stack. I like playing around with tech. So I do. In terms of the web dev backend, I'm more well versed in backend development. I tried doing the full stack thing, but I failed terribly. I think this is where the issue of having friends comes in handy, because I have a very good friend of mine. I don't know if you followed a couple of weeks ago when Unza posted the winners of the UI.
The UI. No, I saw. Was it Project Photon Bar?
No. It was on the Unza page. The UI UX.
I didn't follow.
But then the winner, Unza, is a very good friend of mine from second year, and. At some point I found that, okay, I can't do any front-end stuff. he's good at this. Let me focus on my own little sphere here, my own databases, and then focus on making the UI look nice. And that's from that point onwards, I've never even considered being a front-end developer because it's not for me.
It's not for you.
It's just generally not for me. I suck at making UI.
Right. So the thing is that you tried it first, then you saw how you suck at it, then you said, okay, I'll choose this, and I'll sideline this.
Yeah, like someone is better than me at this, so why should I involve? I can make passable UIs. I can make a UI that will look like a UI, yes, but it won't be nice. The experience is, in general, I know it can be better. In short.
So you choose your battles wisely.
Yeah, I choose my battles wisely.
That's one thing we can learn from this.
You choose your battles wisely, because you end up being like me, where you spend 6 months trying to learn something that goes nowhere. Yeah, it's important to not give up. I think it's because that philosophy I taught you about, where before you question how hard something is or your capacity, first of all question your effort, and then after your effort, question your approach. I didn't question my effort. I tried multiple approaches. It just did not work. So set it off to the side.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for Python, you learned it in that was how many months? Precisely. It took you a year.
That one is a difficult question to answer, because usually when I tell people to say I started programming in grade 9, they'll be like, But then when I tell them that I was introduced to programming in grade 9, but then I took it seriously. That was during the gap year. So it's been a continuous learning journey. There's no point at which I can pick up to say, no, the 25th of April at around 22 hours I became a genius in Python. I can't pinpoint that. I can say it's been a continuous learning journey. I think if you put yourself in the mindset that there's always more to learn, you won't stagnate. Because I once spent a time whereby I stagnated. I was too comfortable with one programming language for I sidelined everything else. But if you put yourself in the mindset, say, you can always learn more. Even that thing you're good at, trust me, there's someone better.
Yes.
Yeah, even just in one minuscule part, there's someone who's better. And put myself in that mindset. So I can't say I learned Python in this amount of time. But for anyone listening who would like to get into any new programming language or whatever, what I can just say is the worst thing, and that's one of the questions that say how I can advise to people getting into CS. The worst thing you can do is jump from tutorial to tutorial, article to article, just saying, okay, this is a for loop, this is how you write a for loop, this is an if statement, this is how you write an if statement. You gain that information, but it's disconnected. One thing that I found that actually quickens the process is, okay, this is a programming language, I want to make this. Just look at it, say I want to make that, and then try to make it. Eventually at some point, you either fail or you succeed. But in whichever failure or success, for you to move, you need to understand you started here, and then whether you failed or succeeded, you still ended somewhere here or here. Regardless, you don't leave that battle the same. And that's the best way to learn. Just keep on building, keep on trying new things, keep on experimenting, and eventually just makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice. It's really interesting. Right. So, what advice do you have for those that want to go into programming? What first programming language can they pick up?
Don't be like me and start with C++. You can, but I can say there are so many programming languages. There are so many programming languages that I think the first thing you might want to consider is, personally, what drove you into trying to learn programming? For me, it was games. I mean, languages to make games, you can either use C, C++, I'm not touching those, and then there's C# with Unity, which was kind of good. And actually learning C# in advance actually helped me clear my second year quicker, because C# and Java are almost the same, and I knew C#. I never studied Java in my second year, but I cleared the course.
You cleared the course?
Yeah, I never studied.
So you used the knowledge from C#?
Yeah, just structure. It's like, it's almost the same stuff. I'm like, and that's how I managed to clear that course quite well. I'll say quite well. I won't say the exact way. It was quite well. And yeah, so look at what you want to learn, whatever it is that has gotten you into this field. It could be money, and if you've got into the field for money, then look for the language that makes you the most money. But if you got into it with a specific passion in mind, say your passion is hardware, Arduinos, etc., start C, C++. You enjoy, those are very powerful languages. If you want to get into the back end of things, there are a bunch of back end languages. Really, it's not about the language itself, but eventually what you do with it. Because I've just said how I transferred my C# knowledge into Java, and I still managed not to fail that course. And these are all transferable skills. Yeah, these languages are all unless you're one of those mad lads who decides to learn assembly, which big ups for you. If you decide to go into doing assembly. But any of the modern programming languages, when you learn it, you can easily jump into the next one. So the skills are very transferable. So just get into what's comfortable for you and what you feel will help you achieve your goals. Well, then you can worry about what gets you hired later on, unless being hired is your first goal. Yeah, but then just enjoy what you're doing. Yeah, I think part of the process is having fun. If you're not having fun, then
there's no
point. Yeah.
All right. So aside from programming, what do you do in your free time apart from programming? Just like to relax and get off the computer, get off your laptop, get off your phone. What do you do in your free time?
Okay, get off my computer. The moment you said get off my computer, I won't lie to you, you eliminated 90% of my hobbies. That's the sad part. So most of my hobbies have been either games, and I enjoy games, except for FIFA. I don't play FIFA. I just don't play FIFA. I'm not a football fan at all, actually. Yeah, I like a lot of. I like playing games a lot. In fact, my roommates even used to go back. You know, it's peer pressure. I digress a bit, but it's peer pressure whereby you're in a room with people studying and then you're the only one playing a game. It's like, guys, should I continue or should I? You're like, okay, guys, I know you want to be serious, but
let's just relax.
Relax a bit. So I play games. That's my method of relaxing. Recently I've picked up running. Recently that's been. I did start going to the gym. It was back in second semester last year, but I stopped at some point. Reasons. But what I've picked up recently is just going out for a run. Yeah, at the very least, that's a physical enough experience and it has its benefits. I can say it clears the head quite a lot. Yeah, so that's the main thing that I do aside when I'm not on my computer. Just running, reading. I won't say reading, but then all my books are digital.
If you're lazy buying physical copies.
I recently just picked up the hobby. I recently just picked up the hobby, and I know how careless I can be. Yeah, with certain things. So having to go and buy big books. I won't treat them nicely. I might as well just have them physically. So I just picked up the hobby of reading, running, and for the most part, that's it. Yeah, other things are digital. Like if I say I do art is it's digital mostly because I picked it up because for my games. I didn't do my art.
Actually good at it because you basically design everything there
in Gunsmith. Yeah, I did all that myself. Yeah,
an indie developer. You don't need you're basically an indie game developer. You don't need someone to draw for you and everything. Alright, so we're almost wrapping up the interview. Let's just talk a bit about your future plans. Right, so what do you plan for the future after you finish your university?
In the next 60 days.
In the next 60 days, by the way.
Yeah, very scary actually. I mean, I can mess up past, I don't know, 16 years of my life in like the next 60 days. It's kind of scary. What I plan to do, I have more than one plan actually. I have more than one plan. So when I started my journey, my first thing was I want to have a game studio one day. Yeah, I want to have a game studio one day. But the thing with dreams and aspirations is, I think if you're doing them right, they evolve. Yeah, I think if I had the same, if my dreams in first year are the same as now, either those are some very good dreams or I haven't grown up.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's just how I look at things. So if your dreams from 5 years ago are the same as today, you must have a very good dream, as in big ups to you, or you haven't gotten exposed enough to other things to like expand. So my first idea was I'll start up a game studio. Right, I'll start up a game studio on weekends, but then a lot of things. First of all, how hectic the game industry is, even how it's not mature enough in Zambia. That dream has kind of reduced. But one plan is okay, game studio. If not for that, so two of my friends and I, we actually do development. So we do software development either for people who want to have software developed for them, and also our own stuff.
Okay.
So building on top of that, and then when I came into CS. I realized that I actually do enjoy teaching in a way.
So you tutor Waza.
I realized that I do kind of enjoy teaching. It's a fun process of at the very least encountering someone who needs some kind of help, and then just being able to lend a hand in their journey. I don't know, it's like when you look at someone from when you first met them and then after you, but even the minimal impact there, I think there's a bit of joy there. So one of the things I have considered is maybe lecturing. I don't know, but we'll have to see how things will evolve from here.
So these are distant plans for the
those like there's plan A, B, C, C, D, up to Z. So
that's a good deal. If everything fails, you start again. Plan A1,
A2. Yeah, so like I can't say I have one rigid plan to say, okay, immediately after school I'm like, I'll go here, I'll start working here. For the next 5 years I'll do this. I think that's an ever evolving thing. Though I can say what I do want at the end of the day, regardless of how I get there, what I do want is just stability. I don't want to be in a situation where I have to worry about, let's say, money and the like. You're just comfortable. I'm not saying I want to be Jeff Bezos kind of rich, but at the very least, I want to be in a state whereby, okay, I'm comfortable, I can handle my needs, I can handle my family's needs. That's where I want to be at the end of the day. Yeah, no illegal activities actually.
Clean game, huh?
No, I'm one illegal move away from being in the mirror, but that's actually just where I see myself, and also doing what's fulfilling. So anything in tech is fine for me. I would really like to work for a company abroad. I would like to work for a company abroad, either whilst I'm here remotely, or go in that side. And for the most part, and also back to lecturing part, doing a master's, in going into the embedded space. Because the software space alone is, from my perspective, there are a lot of people in the software space. But then we have this entire embedded world. The Arduinos, the ASPs, or what. That one is still, especially in Zambia, it's not that many people are doing it, and it's a fascinating thing. In fact, one of my projects is a CPU, but we'll talk about that.
Later on. Yeah. All right. Okay. This has been a nice interview. I actually would have wanted to ask you more questions. Just that time is running out.
Yeah.
So for the last, I hope you answer this in under a minute.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for people that want to venture into software programming, or those that are already into it but are on the verge of giving up? What advice do you have for them?
The depression is normal. That depression is normal. Trust me. That thing of thinking everyone else is better at you, it's normal. Trust me. There are people who are better than you, and there are people not exactly. So whatever bad feelings, but whatever bad emotions you're having, those are normal. Just see them through, and eventually it will make sense. I think if I gave up, I would have been back in 2020. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you very much for engaging with us. Unfortunately, we didn't ask the entire questions that we had planned, but hopefully next time will be another session for this. Thank you very much, guys. This has been Chronicles student series, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our socials, Facebook and TikTok as well. Thank you very much. Until next time, goodbye.